If you're not in the top 3 spots of Google Maps when someone searches for your service, you are losing jobs to your local competitors every single day. And the worst part, most of these competitors aren't any better at running a business than you. They just simply have better optimized Google Maps profiles than you do. My name is Steve Hunsaker. I run a 7-figure home service business myself, and Google Maps free lead generation sources is one of our #1 places we get jobs. Today, I'm walking you through the exact process that helped me go from not ranking at all on Google Maps to ranking in the top 1 or 2 in almost every single zip code I advertise in. And I'm gonna show you how I outranked my local competition and how you can too. So let's dive in. So when it comes to Google Maps, the biggest thing I want to emphasize is the best advertisers in the world, regardless of trade, understand that they have the ability to put themselves in the consumer's shoes. So you as an owner sometimes get so caught up in looking at the analytics and the dashboards of every different advertising platform that you don't stop to think like, what does this look like if I search for my business from the consumer standpoint? Because the consumers don't care what your cost per lead is. They don't care how much you're spending on advertising. All they care about is they search for something and did they get the result or not. And the reason why this is so important for Google Maps specifically is the reason Google is one of the largest companies in world history is they found a way to monetize the highest intent search traffic. So Google specifically is people that are going out of their way to search for you. Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and everything else is interruption style marketing. When you rank high on Google, those are the highest quality leads you can possibly find because they are going on their own willpower to search for services like you. And so this piece of digital real estate for home service businesses is arguably the most important piece of real estate on the internet. And so the problem is most home service businesses see people talk about Google Maps, so they go and set up a profile one time and they're like, okay, I just need to go get reviews. And they don't really put a lot of thought into it. And so I'm going to show you guys some of the analytics of my page, but also try to quantify the actual money we make from it as well later in the video. But this is one of the most common pitfalls I see in home service brands across all of the members of Home Service Accelerator when they join. And so when we talk about optimizing maps properly, I want to talk about what the cost of inaction is. And the cost of inaction is something that I went through with my junk removal business and my Christmas light business even 5 years ago, where I was just doing the same thing that most of you guys are doing. I set up the profile once and then I got some reviews and I was like, oh, maybe I'll rank high a little bit later down the line. But the problem with the people watching this channel, and myself included, is so many people are trying to chase the best paid advertising platform, and you should. There's a time and a place for that. People are going on Thumbtack and paying for leads. They're going on Facebook ads and Instagram ads and paying for leads. They're trying to run ads on TikTok. They're trying to run YouTube ads. They're trying to maybe pay Angie. They're trying to do yard sign campaigns, direct mailers, all this other stuff. The difference with Google is when you figure out a way to rank high on maps and traditional SEO, those leads cost $0 and they're higher quality. And so your competitors that are outranking you are getting better quality leads than you are, better, more warm opportunities, and they're closing them at a higher rate because they're not interruption style marketing them. And so the best example I can give you is we have a commercial client that has given us $40-something thousand, 2 straight seasons in a row, and they will come back and renew for the next year. So that is essentially $120,000 of business that I've gained over the last 3 years from one opportunity. And guess where that opportunity came from? Google Maps. And the reason why, and I think this is a really interesting nuance when it comes to any home service businesses that sell any type of bigger contract or commercial contract, is the majority of business owners and people that run business, so commercial opportunities mostly, understand that Google Maps is the hardest place to actually fake that you look good. Google Maps is pretty authentic. Like when I see a business that has a high ranking Google Maps listing with a bunch of reviews and a bunch of photos and their Q&As are filled out or everything like that, and they got an average star rating of 4.8 or 4.9 or higher, I'm more likely to convert there because I know that that's harder to optimize, and that's typically a sign that it's a good business. And so one thing we've noticed is we get more commercial opportunities and higher like business owner, entrepreneur type customers seemingly from Google Maps than anything else. And it makes sense because everybody knows that if you're running a Google pay-per-click ad or a Facebook ad, you can just pay to be there. Same with Thumbtack or anything else. Google Maps, to rank high, you have to actually have your you-know-what together. So by the way, if you want to dominate your local market, you watched a lot of these YouTube videos, you want to dominate on Google Maps, you want to dominate on Facebook ads, you want to dominate everywhere else, you can join the Home Service Accelerator Pro group and build the exact ecosystem that at the time of filming this, we've done for about 600 home service businesses in the last year and a half. So if you want to dominate maps, Facebook ads, and then build all the other systems and processes that I have in my business, Business and all the other Home Service Accelerator Pro members have. There's a link in the description to book a call with us, and then you can also click it in the comments as well. But let's move on to the most important part. What exactly helps you rank on Google Maps? And it really comes down to three things. Google's very clear about what they like if you pay attention to how they rank different businesses. The things that are pretty much universal best practice are frequency of activity on the Google page. So this can be everything from reviews to posts by the owner to responding to comments or reviews from people to photo uploads, just frequent activity. And within frequent activity, one thing you also want to note is Google likes consistent activity more than it likes bursts of activity. And so if you're watching this, you think, okay, cool, let me go get all 25 of my closest family members and friends to spam my page with reviews. I would actually recommend that you drip them maybe 1 or 2 a day for as long as possible than just doing it all at once, because Google wants to see and show people high ranking results. And so what is Google's algorithm going to love? Frequent activity instead of bursts of activity, because that's a sign that a business is consistently moving the ball forward. And so the first thing is frequency of activities. And now the second thing is not going to blow your mind, but there's nuance to it that I think will blow your mind, and it's review nurturing. But it's not just getting reviews. Google will show you with their actions that Google loves photo reviews. Now again, think about it from Google's perspective. Google wants to show end users the highest quality results possible. They don't want to show crappy businesses. They don't want to show scam businesses. They don't want to show businesses that don't answer the phone. And so what Google does is they know that a photo review is substantially harder to fake than a regular just 5-star review with no description or writing. Now, why is that harder to fake? Because every photo has a geotag built into it if it's taken with an iPhone or anywhere else. So Google gets the photo, and the metadata on that photo shows from the iPhone or Android where that photo was actually snapped from. And so Google sees that as a positive data point as well. Don't believe me? Go to any Google business page. On the review side, click most relevant and count how many photo reviews show in the top 10 of the most relevant reviews that Google's algorithm shows end users. On mine, I think it's like 6 out of our 10 most relevant reviews are from local guides and have photos attached. That's not coincidence. Google knows that that's harder to do. And so if the first thing was frequency of activity, the second thing is frequency of reviews with photos attached. All right, I could talk about it like a marketing guy that doesn't have a business, or I can show you because I'm an active home service business, and I will flex right now using the exact thing I'm talking about on YouTube, how it works in my business. And so here's an example. I Googled top Christmas light installers in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm on an incognito browser. So these are ads, right? Sponsored businesses. These are ads. And then this is a sponsored Google pay-per-click ad. It's why it says sponsored results. So I'm going to scroll down, and then guess who shows up number 1 on the AI overview? Valley Christmas lights, that's me. And then guess who shows up at the top of maps? So as I go in, boom, Valley Christmas lights, and then Valley Premier Lighting. Both of those are my brands, and they both show up top 2 when you Google that. So again, I'm not telling you this for my health. I'm showing you this in real time in my actual business, that what I'm telling you on this YouTube works. So let's pick Valley Christmas lights. And one thing I want to showcase, here's our business, here's our reviews. This is what consumers will see on their end. They're going to go to the reviews section, right? And they're going to go through and they're going to see, okay, wow, this company looks great. Let me read some reviews. And so they're going to go over here and they're going to click the review section, and then they're going to see a bunch of different reviews. This is what I want to show you. Most relevant right here. Photos, 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 photos. You see a trend here? But here's the other thing too. Google loves local guides. So Cynthia's a local guide, Pamela's a local guide, because the more reviews that an end user leaves, the more quality Google's going to know those reviews are and less fake they are because they've left reviews on other businesses. And so look at that. Let's just count. In my top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for 7 are of the most relevant have photos. 7 of 8, 7 of 9, 8 of 10. So 8 of our top 10 reviews have photos. And that's not coincidence. That's purely Google telling the consumers that this is a quality business based on that. And so that's the first thing I want to show is trust, trust, trust. So while we're talking about this, let's do some math. And I also want to take this time briefly to show you guys something that's happened to my business this week. So we got cyber attacked by, and this is a really common scam on Google Maps. Typically they're like, foreign scammers will create these local guide accounts and then leave fake reviews on your page. And then they'll do a ransom to get the reviews removed. If you look at my page, they're removed now, but I'll show you guys some screenshots of the reviews. We had 2 local guides leave us 1-star reviews, and then my company cell phone got texted and it said, I was paid to leave you negative reviews. Please call me to get them reviewed. It's a common scam. Google knows it's happening a lot. It's happened to probably like 5 or 6 members of Home Service Accelerator, and I see it happen on Twitter all the time. There's a really good tweet thread from Bodie Gallo. I'll link it in the video below that talks about how to expedite getting them removed because Google knows this is an active scam. When we talk about frequency, one thing I want to show is we're at the end of our install season, right? And so we did about 200 installs this year, give or take, but a lot of our customers have already left us reviews. So like new customers this year, I think we had maybe 70 or something. But if you look at how many reviews I've got in the last couple months, if you scroll, you can see that we probably generated 25 to 30 reviews, if I had to guess, this season alone. So we gather 5-star reviews from about a third of our paying customers, and that's pretty damn good. I wish that number was higher. A lot of our customers are really old. They don't have Gmail accounts, but I'm thrilled with about a third of our new customers this year leaving us reviews. I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face, or I can just show you, which is what I'm doing here. But then the third most important thing that I want to show you guys as well is you need fully filled out product and services sections that are blasted with your keywords combined with activity and owner posts. If you don't have your social media accounts synced right here on your Google page, you have to do that. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever else. But you also need to make sure the products and services are set up properly. And so if you look here, I have a bunch of different products and services set up that help dominate with local keywords. And so if you haven't filled out that section, I would absolutely recommend you do. And then within Home Service Accelerator, we've actually helped people create like prompts from ChatGPT and Grok and all the other AIs to actually write these and have them be keyword heavy for you. So you make sure that you put the right stuff in there so you don't fill it out wrong and then rank wrong. But again, like this is why this YouTube channel has a lot of, mega fans that are home service businesses, and Home Service Accelerator has blown up because about 4 years ago in this process, I was paying agencies to do all this and I was getting terrible results because agencies don't know how to run businesses. They're just marketing guys. And so the beauty of me talking about this on my YouTube is that like I can show you tangible results live from my actual business. It's not just like some fake testimonial from some marketing guy. It's like, this is what I'm doing in my businesses, and this is why we rank so high. I started this Google business for Valley Premier Lighting last year, like in March. Top Christmas light installers, Scottsdale, Arizona, it ranks second on incognito mode. So again, it's the same process, just with a different brand. Like again, if I go here and I go to reviews, look at how many of my most relevant reviews have photos on this page and how high we've already ranked. It's not coincidence. It's just the proof is in the pudding. And the last thing I want to mention is we used to put a ton of effort into the Q&A section. Google's actually seemingly sunsetting this feature. So some of you guys might still have Q&A sections on your Google page. That used to be super important. Now it seemingly is not as important. So you might have seen content of me years ago that talked about getting Q&As, or even like in the last year. It's becoming less and less important because, I don't know, people weren't clicking it or whatever else, but that's not nearly as important as it used to be. Okay, but now let's go over the most important part that all of you guys are probably watching and thinking is, how much money do we actually make from this Google page? How many leads do we get? How much traffic do we get? And how do we quantify it? And the reality is I can guide you to the amount of activity that's come into our business, but it's really hard to track full attribution for how much came through Google Maps, because a lot of the time what happens is people find you on Google Maps, and if they call your forwarding number, that's fantastic. But if they don't, they go to your website, they go to somewhere else. If you don't have unique phone number tracking when they visit your website, it'll just look like it came to your website in general. I refuse to change any phone numbers or addresses on my Google page because I do not want to get suspended and go re-verify the page again, because we are a seasonal business, and anytime you make changes on Google, you run the risk of your business page getting suspended. My business page prints leads and money. I don't change anything once it's set up and live. I recommend you change very little of your phone number and address as possible. You can change products and services and categories all day long, but the reason I don't have tracking attribution on this the way I probably would if I started a new business page is I do not want to re-verify. So let's go to the performance section. Let's use really basic math. We talk about advertising a lot on this channel. So my busy season is from August to essentially December. If I go from August 2025 to December of 2025, this is how many business profile interactions we got. We got 1,957 business profile interactions. We had 53,466 people look at our business profile. So this is where it gets really good. How many calls did we get? 168 inbound phone calls. Let's do some math on what that costs from a paid advertising standpoint. If you're running a Google pay-per-click ad campaign and your cost per per conversion, meaning they filled out a form or they called your business, was $100. That means that this business got 168 of those phone calls. So 168 times $100 of conversion, that's $16,800 worth of paid advertising conversions that came from this Google business page for $0.00. Furthermore, we don't do bookings live. We got 1,192 visits to our website directly attributed to the link in our Google business page. If we had 1,192 people see our Google business page and then click our website, let's say of those, super conservatively, 10% of those people filled out a form. Conservatively, that's a very conservative conversion rate. So we got 119 conversions there. If a easy cost per conversion on Google pay-per-click ads is $100 a conversion, because again, remember, Facebook ad conversions are cheaper, but they're lower quality. All of these conversions are people who went out of their way to search for Christmas light installation. So we had 119 people convert there. And so same math, that would be 119 times $100 a conversion. That's $11,920 worth of conversions completely free. So across this and actual calls into the business, about $28,000 of free advertising in the last 3.5, 4 months. This is how important the Google Maps is. And I want to make sure I make one thing clear about why Google Maps is so important. This ranking lasts forever if I keep doing the right things. Once I'm ranked in the top 1, 2, and 3, it is very hard for me to get displaced if I keep doing the things that got me there. If I keep getting photo reviews, if I keep getting a bunch of activity on my page, if I keep posting as an owner, if I keep doing all those things, I get better and I stay ranking high. It's very hard to get displaced once you rank high up there. And so think about the two types of advertising. You want to pay for leads on Google pay-per-click and Facebook ads and Instagram ads and all the other lead generation sources. You want to just be able to throw money at advertising and just turn the advertising machine on. But think about how valuable this is to my business, where even if I shut off all of my paid ads, the phone is still ringing organically from this Google business page and all of our other organic stuff. That is how big businesses continue to win, and it is how you keep your margins high as you scale your business. Because if you're just tying all of your growth to paying for every lead, you will be on the paid ad hamster wheel forever. If you want to rank higher in different advertising strategies, if you want your Facebook and Instagram ads to perform better, if you want your Google Maps and your Google Maps listing to rank higher, if you want your organic SEO to do better, if you want all of these different things to work out like I'm talking about on this channel, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's not a light switch. Paid ads aren't even a light switch. You will film 5 to 6 ads before you find a winner. Some people film 10 ads before they find a winner. Google Maps, you can decide to do all of these things and you will not get results the first month. You will have very minimal changes for the first month. But what happens is business is a competitive sport. All of your other businesses in your market, all of your other competitors want to do the same thing you do. They want to rank higher on Google Maps just like you do. It's another dude in your market trying to rank higher so he can make more money for himself or his family, just like you are. It's another business out there. It is a competitive sport. And so if you want to win, you have to do more over a longer duration of time than all of your competitors. And so ranking high on Google Maps is no different. If you want to win ranking high on Google Maps, you have to do more activity more frequently over a longer duration of time than all of your competitors, and then do the little nuance things like photo reviews and be educated, which is why you're watching this YouTube channel. And so that's the difference. You don't just do this today. You don't just fill out the products and services and set it and forget it. You have to set up systems. You have to set up a system where your guys on site generate reviews. And then you have to set up a back-end system that generates reviews for you in your CRM and everything else. All of those things add up. And we're actually making a video that'll release this week or next about the best practices for actually generating quality reviews and the systems that I have in my business that do that. But if you really want to stand out and get a bunch of reviews consistently, you have to build systems. And so the best way to do it is get your guys on site to generate reviews with Google Tap Cards and a bunch of other things, and then set up a bunch of automations that essentially back cleanup on the back end. Text message automations, asking for reviews, emails, whatever else. And so you guys have seen me talk about this a lot, is as my business has crossed over that 7-figure mark, something that's super important is having all of our systems dialed in. I used to be kind of a one-trick pony with Google pay-per-click ads, and then they stopped working as well. And I became more of a one-trick pony with Facebook, and then those started working, but there's a little bit more competitive. So they've stopped working at, like, I don't get a 20x return like I used to, because there's just more competition in every market in home services. Now I add direct mail and all these other things. And one thing we've noticed this year is all of our marketing efforts work together. We have stories where a lady saw our yard sign in her neighbor's yard, saw our lights, and then she converted on a Facebook ad. And then we get on site and she has a postcard in her hand. And so why I'm saying this is, as you're watching this, you probably want to have a 7-figure business. I want to have an 8-figure business now that I have a 7-figure business. And what I notice is, as the businesses scale, you just get better at doing everything and you just pour more gasoline on the fire, because again, it's volume of effort, it's quality of effort, and then it's over a long period of time. That is the equation. And so volume of effort is everything I'm talking about here: volume of reviews, volume of posts, volume of everything. Quality of effort is the little nuanced things that you see on this channel or you see in Home Service Accelerator Pro, getting photos, filling out the products and services. That's quality of effort. And then duration is how long can you do that consistently to get the results? Because this isn't a light switch. Ranking high on Google Maps is not a light switch. It is a slow burn, but it is a slow, sustainable burn. And that's why it's so important for your business. So if you actually implement this, actually do this properly over a long period of time, it is inevitable that you will start getting leads in the form of phone calls and website submissions on your business that will turn into more paying customers. That's your opportunity. If you want to crush everybody in your market, you have to do more than everybody in your market. Don't just watch this, implement it this week. And if you want the complete marketing system that I use and everybody else in Home Service Accelerator uses, you can join Home Service Accelerator Pro. There's a link in the description. We can help you set up all the automations I'm talking about, set up working Facebook ads, optimize your Google business page properly, make sure all of that other process in your business is dialed in. You can apply in the description and in the comments below. But if you don't want to do all that, keep watching this YouTube channel for free. Comment what you like, what you don't like, put the notifications on, and then you can message me on X, on Instagram, everywhere else, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.